What's up, people? Welcome to week 5 of our podcast. This week we have our first ever guest, my very good friend, O'Neal Smile. I met O'Neal when I was working at Boston Sports Clubs, I think like 4 years ago now. And he's just been a very good friend to me. He taught me a lot about personal training and the whole gym atmosphere and all that. But I will let him introduce himself. So go ahead, O'Neal. Tell the people who you are, what you're about, where you're working now, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you, Joey, for the introduction. And I would say on the Mount Rushmore of trainers, Joey, you're definitely up there. There's probably like 5 others that I think are probably like are worth the value, whatever anyone's charging. So thanks, Joey.
I like that Mount Rushmore.
It's true. I'm telling you, man, before I even talk about myself, when it comes to training, the percentages of trainers who care isn't that large, and it stands out, and it kind of sucks because the trainers who actually do care, we're kind of a little more quiet. We're just more in our craft. So the ones who are more cookie cutter tend to be a little more famous because they do the cookie cutter. Anyways, I'm on the other life coach now. I do affiliate marketing as well. I still do personal training on the side, but I think I'm moving into the next phase of my life. But personal training is always going to be an aspect that I'm going to be a part of, I guess. It's kind of like, as much as I try to escape it, it kind of pulls me back in. So, but I'm really enjoying the life coaching aspect, and I'm starting to engage myself in speaking seminars, and I'm trying to become a public speaker. So I'm just trying to stretch myself out to see what sticks, and then go from there. So it's kind of like a floaty phase, but I'm kind of happy about it.
No, that's awesome, man.
It's different. It's much different than working in a gym.
No, that sounds really cool. Like if you can, well, once you get up there in public speaking and all that, once you give in talks and stuff, that'd be really dope.
Yeah. There was a guy I knew, his name was Paul Hilton. I trained him a long time ago. You probably don't know him, Joey. This was back in like 2015, 2014 at Boston Sports Club. He was a public speaker, and he was just the most calm, chill guy. He was just like, I asked him what he did one day, and he's like, oh, I public speak. And I was like for what? He said, oh, for companies. Like, what's your audience? Like, I don't know, like 10,000, 20,000 people. Just the most calm guy. And he kind of made it seem very like, he spoke very nonchalantly about it because I've come to the realization things are as challenging as you make them, The way he made it sound so easy kind of gave me inspiration to want to get involved in it too. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. All right. Well, it's the new year. A lot of people are trying to get into their resolutions or whatever. And usually either health or fitness, especially weight loss in America is a big one. So what are your general thoughts on motivation to start anything new, especially for a lot of people who might be scared of joining the gym? Why don't we go to Matt? Go ahead first.
Yeah. Basically, I think that like motivation is obviously a good tipping point, and it gets people started. And like New Year's, it does like have that like energy and it gets everyone going. So like my biggest pet peeve is people kind of trashing on that. A lot of trainers think it's kind of cool. Coaches think it's cool to be like, oh, start your goals now, start here, and kind of dump on the New Year's people. But I think it's kind of irresponsible for shitting on people trying to start something productive, obviously. But I think the biggest thing is that motivation is a good starting point, but it's discipline and determination to keep going. I think like understanding the difference is huge.
Yeah, definitely. And just like quickly, how can you differentiate the two?
I think like discipline is more is more tangible. Like when I think of discipline, I think of like systems that you've set in place and habits, like mini goals, stuff like that. And motivation is more fleeting, something that's hard to define. And it's just like more like a feeling, an emotion, if you will. Sorry, here, let me let the dog out of the room.
Yeah, no, definitely.
There we go.
O'Neal, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Matt. I kind of feel that motivation is like the key that starts the car, but habits the fuel. You
I like
know,
that.
uh, it's just time after time, it's the same cycle of patterns and of people wanting to join a gym in the new year, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like Matt said, it's a great start. Um, I think that what I think is really overlooked, and this is what Boston Sports Club taught me. Environment plays a big factor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if your environment sucks, or if your workouts aren't engaging, you have a high chance of falling off. So I think like what Matt said with habit, and I think environment, and just things that if you make it fun, it lasts a little bit longer.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Just on that point, a lot of people who are new to fitness or whatever are joining, commercial gyms like the YMCA or Boston sports clubs and gyms like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, just because, what else do you know about specialty gyms? But environment at those commercial gyms isn't really that good. It's all, TVs, everyone has their headphones in. But if you find a specialty gym, like Architect, which where Matt's at, like you can tell the environment is a lot different. It's a lot more welcoming. It's a lot more supportive. And a good example that I like to give is when I went out to California. I went out to Barbell Brigade, which is a big gym out there. I went at like 6 a.m. and I brought a Monster with me, but I didn't even drink it because the energy was so great.
Right.
But and then all right, so to jump off that point, what do you guys think of the current state of like the fitness and health motivation online and then in the media, like TV, radio, and all that, social media especially?
I'm sorry, Matt. I don't know if you were gonna talk.
No, go for it.
Man, I feel like I jumped in with one viewpoint on it. Like the level of care I thought would be higher, but the longer I stayed in, the more I realized people really make it about the money and less about the customer. I mean, and I was talking to my son about this. He plays Fortnite, and I said, "Dude, why is Fortnite so big?" Because I wanted to test his brain. He said, "I don't know. They do a lot of updates." And I said, "Yeah, you know what that means? They listen to their customers. Amazon listens to their customers. Apple kind of listens to their customers.
Right.
That's what made them big. But I feel like for training as well, I feel like it's important to really pay attention to the customer and what their needs are, and not do mobility work when they're like 500 pounds. What are they paying for is important. I mean, the concept of it. And I think the more mainstream it gets, the less we get away from that. It's becoming a little more fast foodish to me. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I feel like there should be a little more balance of care.
What do you mean by like fast foodish?
Like everything seems kind of there's nothing wrong with the express workout, right? But when I think of the term personal training, the most important word is personal, and I feel like people like to cookie cut things, and you may have 10 clients, and there's nothing wrong with creating shortcuts or systems that work best for you, but remembering that each person is their own individual entity, with their own injuries, their own, thought process and things of that nature. So I think fitness is always evolving, but sometimes where it evolves, it's kind of a red flag to me.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's become so, or we've moved into such a like instant gratification type of mindset for everyone here, that if you can't help me lose 30 pounds in a month, why would I hire you?
Right, exactly.
Well, because there's always that person out there that like has that quick approach and advertises that like fast shortcut. You know what I mean? So you're always going to be competing with those people, which is so frustrating.
And the challenging thing is, it's the misconception of that as well, because I can easily take a picture of a guy when he was fat, right? And then he loses weight in like a year, and then say he lost it in 30 days. No one would know the difference.
Right.
And the customer they jump into it's not their fault. We're all very sensitive to images and imagery. So But man, the systems in place have to really be there, and I feel like people will. I like the fact that fitness is a little cheaper, but it does cheapen the product a little bit as well. Because if you buy a program for like $30, yeah, good luck. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I just feel like I bought one just to see what it was like, right? And I feel like it was just 6 exercises, the same 6 exercises for about a month, and then that's it. And you get what you pay for in that aspect too.
Definitely. What about like how a lot of people, post on Instagram and Facebook? A lot of these, especially, I find it more effective to the female audience where they have the fit teas and the detoxes and the what do you call the corsets and all those pretty much like the yoga and cardio bunnies that are the new inspiration for a lot of the women out there to get started. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't want to interrupt.
No, go for it, Joe. You got it.
The sound. I'm not trying to. This is a really sensitive.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why
I'll just say it, man. And I feel like the more honest I am, the better it comes out. Women love accessories, whether it be handbags, makeup, and I feel like slim tees, corsets, those are also accessories that will make them look more attractive in the eyes of not in the eyes of men, but more in the eyes of other women. My girlfriend, she wears makeup and she feels naked without her makeup, and I tell her you look beautiful, and she says, "Well, I feel ugly." And dude, no guy thinks about that stuff, right? No guy thinks about corsets. No guy cares about slim tees. And I feel like, the goal is to attract the opposite sex, right? And I feel like we're being misled. Well, women are being misled so far down the rabbit hole where it's jeopardizing their health, and just like makeup, or just like high heels.
Yeah.
And there has to be a line that's drawn at some point, or education that's actually listened to. I mean, you think of these Instagram influencers, they're business people first. They're not really trainers. And there are obviously some that are trainers, but for the majority, like 99%, they're business people, or they have social media accounts that are ran by other people. So how generic can it be? You'd be surprised when you look on the other side of who's actually posting those stories and posts.
Right.
That's actually a good point. How a lot of people, they only post the highlights, or most people only post the highlights. 99% of people only post the highlights.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it. So.
Yeah, and I'm the same way.
Yeah, instant gratification is the only way, man. If you're not, but you know what I've realized? I feel like there is kind of a shift towards the instant gratification. I feel like people connect a little bit more when there is a process.
Definitely.
Let's say if someone lost 2 pounds in a week and they just keep posting that progress, I feel like you get more attention, and maybe more people will say, that's a phenomenal job you're doing. Keep it up. The more instant it is, I feel like it's going to attract a different crowd. If you show process and progress, it's going to attract another crowd, and that's the crowd that I think is more sustainable for themselves and also for trainers as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. To your previous point, actually, I think a lot of it has to do with like basically self-love. Instead of trying to make yourself look good for people around you who you might meet, because 99% of the people you see on the street, you're never gonna, you don't care. They don't know who you are.
Right.
So once you get that that notion of pretty much self-love, then you don't have to worry about the accessories like O'Neill was talking about, and you can focus on more of the things that really matter.
Right. I don't want to make men exempt as well. I think men
definitely
accessorize as well, just in case this comes back in like 5 years and someone tries to. Or like, let me cover my ass now. But like, men like to accessorize as well with, I don't know. You remember Sean? I shouldn't say his name. our old fitness manager.
Yeah, yeah. There's a million Seans out there. It's all good.
Yeah. How he would accessorize his bang drinks, for the sake of like losing weight and doing all these things. He would drink like 3 a day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh, it's important. I think it's critical that we like you said, Joey, to really understand ourselves and forgive ourselves as well. If we don't, we're gonna mess up. It's not gonna happen overnight. When you love yourself more, you understand that and understand that the process continues, even though you've slipped up, or even though, I don't know. I've tried to tone up, and my girlfriend said I looked a little chubby still, and I was stung a little bit. But you know what? I know who I am, so I'll just keep going. So it's self-love is really critical, really critical.
So make that your resolution instead of fitness.
Man. But the instant gratification kind of is the opposite of that. It'll cause you to not like yourself. Like, if they can do it, how come I can't do it?
Right.
You did it in 3 days, So it's almost reverse psychology for you to buy in a sense. You'll feel like shit, and then buy my program.
And it works.
It works.
I think that has a huge. I mean, I think Instagram and Facebook have a huge influence on that, actually, just because you're seeing, like just from the accounts that I follow, people are deadlifting like 600-700 pounds, 800 pounds. They're squatting, pretty much the same. So for someone who wants to just not even get into just working out in the first place, someone who's pretty experienced and wants to get into powerlifting, that could either motivate them more, or it could demotivate them, because it's like, why would I keep trying when I'm never going to get there?
Right. Yeah.
It's actually noticeable in a lot of fields too, not just mine. Let's take like people who are in the creative field. They follow all these accounts, and then you have all these people posting their crazy ideas and artwork and whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of into the field of, like, I don't want to say motivation, because to say it sounds cheesy now, because everyone's kind of saying it. But they're the Gary V's and the Grant Cardones out there, and I love their work, but I don't follow their pages because I kind of want to stick with my craft.
Yeah.
But Gary Vee says some really amazing things, right? So amazing to the point where I say, why didn't I think of that? So for me on my journey, it's important for myself, and I think for powerlifters as well, maintain your confidence and protect your confidence. Even if you have a bad lift or a workout that wasn't up to par, maintain your confidence, because it's not done. It's not done until you decide it's done. Even people, especially people with weight loss as well. I think we touched on that.
Definitely.
You gotta. There's this book called Psycho-Cybernetics. I think I'm butchering it. Have you guys heard of that book?
I don't think I have, actually, no.
It talks about like mindset and having a goal-oriented mindset via your subconscious. And the best way I can put it is, let's say if you're driving, right, and you have your GPS on, it's taking you to New York, right? And the GPS makes a right instead of making a left, right? It's the equivalent of when you make that right, instead of you getting back on track, you just make that right and keep going, right? So let's say if I have a bad meet, right? It's the equivalent of making that right, and I just feel terrible about it. I feel like shit. I start eating more. I kind of stop lifting. It's the equivalent of like not staying on your goal, right? Negative mindsets can really take us off our goals like a GPS. What you idealistically want to do is, if you make a bad turn or a wrong turn, just get back on track. Just make another one. Right. And that's where mindset comes into play for all avenues, for athletes, for people in the creative arts, for business people. Mindset is really key. Just pacing as well.
Is this the one you're talking about, O'Neal?
Yeah, that guy. That's a long one.
Yeah, great book. Oh, sweet though.
Yeah, it's a great book. I think it's about it's an audio book. I'm better with I hate reading, right?
Yeah.
I can do audiobooks. And that one, I think it's about a 14-hour book, but it's really engaging.
Nice.
Yeah.
Matt, your Instagram has been growing pretty well actually over the last year, I guess. What are your thoughts on this whole topic?
Yeah. I don't know, because I guess I don't really like play by the normal rules for Instagram, just purely because I tried that. I really did, and it didn't work for me. And then ever since I started being just more like genuine and kind of showing everything, like just like raw stuff. And like we said, I can be guilty of just posting like the highlight reels, but at the same time, I like to give people kind of just the mundane, boring stuff, because that's such a huge part of it. And just showing them that like it is a process and it's like an ongoing one, and it's never over. Like you don't hit a PR and you're done, Like you hit a PR and there's always something you could have done better. There's always something you can get more out of it. And I think like that's what keeps people coming back, is just getting caught up in the pursuit of it, as opposed to the end goal. Because I mean, like you're saying, like powerlifting, like the chances of you being like a world record holder are so slim, so slim. So just enjoying the process of getting stronger. If you don't enjoy that, you're not going to stick with it.
Right.
I think that's a difficult thing for a lot of people to do. Like myself included. Sometimes I don't want to. You know how they say like doctors are the worst patients?
Right.
Yeah. Like sometimes I don't want to stick to my program just because. I'm not going to get there anyway, or like, I know that's not good to have those thoughts, but I mean, like, everyone has those thoughts.
Well, it's funny too, because like the more you learn and the more you know, like whether it's science or like just about the sport in general, I don't know, the more you like start to understand how crazy difficult it all is,
Yeah, definitely.
Plants seeds of doubt, which are obviously things that you just have to ignore if you want to have a long run at it.
So I'm sorry, Greg. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was, I'm trying to find the best way to word it. Let's say someone misses like a game-winning shot, right? And it costs them the championship, right? And I feel like there's two ways you can look at that. And I feel like there's two ways. This ties into athletics as well, with powerlifting. How you look at your failures will determine how you move forward, So let's say you missed a game-winning shot, and every time you play that memory in your head of you missing that shot, and that can carry over into the next season, right? But let's say if you miss that game-winning shot, right? Take away the emotion of the loss, because that sucks, right? Observe it a little bit better. And all you realize when you miss your game, you just your wrist was kind of off by like 5 degrees, right? When you take emotion out of your losses, and just go into a more observatory, is that a word? Observing view,
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's the best way to get better, I think, is if you, like for myself, I went to this Toastmasters meeting and I spoke, and it wasn't that great, and I felt really nervous. But when I actually removed my emotion and played it back in my head, I realized I was just talking too fast, I feel like you can get more data from memories when you take emotion out of it, if that makes sense. Nice. And that translates to all things, even being a gym owner.
That's a very difficult thing for most people to do, though, just to take emotion out of it.
Right.
But like, especially like, I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like you need more of a business mindset to learn how to do that properly.
Yeah.
A lot of people have different ways of thinking. So like some people are very emotionally invested into everything that they do.
Mm-hmm.
That can be, a weak point, but you're right. If you can take that out and just think about it subjectively, I guess.
Right. And I don't mean like we're emotional beings. I don't think we should suppress the emotion, but at some point, the best, because when I do my coaching with my clients, a lot of times I tell them, all right, go back and just observe what just happened. Like, you ever watch Saved by the Bell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Zach would like pause the setting and just talk to you, right? Talk to the viewer. It's almost kind of the same thing. You have to kind of like look at it and not be so emotionally invested. At least even one time when you look back at it to see if you can pull some data that you can use moving forward. I think, and I think you're always going to find something. Always, always, always. And it's always worked with my clients, and it works with me. But the hard part is actually doing it. Like
Right.
separate emotions sometimes, but it takes practice. I think.
Right.
I think that's like the importance of keeping like a journal.
Yeah, good call.
Like a training log. You know what I mean? Because like if you have a shitty session, you sit down, you write it down, and like you literally write out what was bad,
Yep.
and then automatically you're starting to think more objectively as opposed to like I feel like crap. You know.
Same thing with love for people who are trying to lose weight. Like if you had a shitty day and you wrote it down, you can even talk about your emotions, how you felt. Like I think when it comes to weight loss, emotion does play a factor because you can either be bored or you can be stressed, you know. And I feel like there's probably a third one. Maybe you want to reward yourself like a little more over the top than you need to, but those are all emotions. And if you go back to the emotions that led up to the event, I feel like that's a great way to learn and move forward and prevent that from happening or even reducing it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, like I said, everything that has to do with your body is a science, whether you like it or not. There's so many variables in our daily life that we can't control, but if you do keep a logbook and you're tracking what you eat and your activity and your workouts, that takes some of the variables out of it just because you know what you're looking at, and maybe you can probably guess what led up to either a fantastic day or a pretty bad one.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, for them, this is a very tough step, whether it's gym anxiety or the fear of looking stupid or people looking at them and judging them. What are your thoughts on how to either get past it or to grow stronger than that would allow, or than that to grow stronger than to allow that to affect you?
I think so. I feel like a lot of people are excited when they sign up for a gym.
Yeah.
But then they get really nervous the day they go to the gym, and I wonder. Oh, there's a timer meeting pop up.
All right, I just got that too.
10 minutes. All right, so let me rush this. And so maybe there's.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay, maybe there's a I feel like there's a disconnect in that window, where like why are you so excited and why are you so nervous? And I feel like it's when I was working at Boston Sports Club and when people were really apprehensive with working with me, I would just try to remind them, like, when you came here, you were here for a reason. You came in for a reason. Like you looked it up on Google, you drove over here, you talked to the general manager, and you signed up. You gave the gym money. All those things were because of something. I don't think you should lose sight of that. Like why you signed up. The why is a massive step. And I think we lose sight of that because we get apprehensive of looking like we're going to fail or looking like we're starting from the very beginning, but I just don't think anyone gives a fuck, man. I just don't. I just don't. I just don't. I see nervous people in the gym and I'm just like, oh, they look nervous. That's it. I think most people feel that way.
Right. No,
yeah.
I totally agree with that. No one cares, and no one's even probably noticing. Everyone's always afraid that like you're gonna look stupid. But to be totally honest with you, I bet everyone in there doesn't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Except for like a small percentage.
Right.
And the small percentage that knows what they're doing, they want to help you.
Right. Or they're doing their own thing. You know what I mean? They're just like they're in their zone.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And I wish I could get more people to realize that, because like being nervous to go to the gym is a really shitty reason not to go. Not that it's not valid, but just like the underlying like driver of that is just shitty.
Right. And like it always comes back to self-confidence.
For sure.
And that's that's the driving force behind one of the driving force behind succeeding and not succeeding is how you feel about yourself. And it's okay to not have days where you feel great about yourself, but man, if you have the confidence to sign up, you should have the confidence to start, I think, because at some point you have the confidence you can do it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
At some point you believe that. You just have to remember that and get in there. And the hardest, I would say, for starting out, day one's always the hardest. You know, day one's the hardest. Day two, maybe two a little bit, but once you get into a rhythm of it and you realize that, again, no one gives a shit, you know, just do your thing. Stick to the scripts.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll say I don't give a shit. No, I'm kidding. No, I care. It's good to see people, you know, committing to themselves. You know, and I would never want to interrupt that process. I would never make fun of that. I would never do that. That's bad karma, I think.
I think most people. I mean, you have to be a pretty shitty person to like see someone struggling and either wish bad upon them or hope that things don't get better. I strongly believe that there's not many people out there like that.
Most people really lack self-confidence.
Right.
They have the viewpoints of other people. You
know. What would be an example of something that you guys started at one point that you were like crazy scared of? Like for me, it was door knocking for real estate, just because I want to bother people.
Yeah, that would rattle.
And took me a while actually just to do it, you know, once, and I didn't really get any results out of it. I think it's a very old tactic because, you know, why would you answer the door for someone?
I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what though? I kind of see the benefit of it because it I feel like at the end it makes you a little less afraid, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
You can knock on people's doors like strangers and survive and still do real estate. Oh yeah, that you learned something from that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's an intangible. I would say for myself is public speaking, man. That's always been kind of my biggest phobia. I go to these meetings and I stutter and I stammer and but every time I do it, I get a little bit better. Because I don't know, it's just something I want to do, and it's something. And the things, I feel like if you want something bad enough, there's gonna be something there's gonna be a hump you have to get over. There just has to be a hump you have to get over within yourself, and you have to practice on that. And Joey, for you to go door to door, that's practicing on a hump for yourself to get over. We all have these things, and I think a lot of us tend to ignore it. And I think the more we ignore it, the less chance we have of accomplishing anything. Anything. You have to work on who you are and what you're made of and your fears as well. And good things usually happen after that, you know?
Definitely. And you know, getting past that hump, that whole process is pretty much the universe or God or whatever you want to believe, seeing if you really do want it.
Yeah, I totally freaking. Can I curse on this?
Yeah, why not?
Do you guys curse normally?
I can't.
I don't know, actually.
Oh man.
Nah, whatever, man.
I always ruin it. I'm always the cursor, man.
It's cool. Freedom of speech. Do what you want.
Yeah. Whatever, man. No, yeah, I agree with you, man. It's I agree.
Yeah. Matt, what do you got?
For me, it's probably competing. Just like doing something that I'm so used to doing alone in front of so many people. For some reason, is nerve wracking. So like kind of like what he was saying about public speaking. And for me, it's like I'm a coach. Like this is my passion. This is my lifestyle, and it should be something I'm good at. So getting up there and like showing weakness in front of tons of people, it's definitely a challenge. But one that obviously I continue to just keep jumping back into.
Yeah, you know what? I realize when I fail at things, and I fail a lot. I fail a whole lot, but for some reason I keep coming back.
Yeah,
and I like that. I like that I keep coming back, and that has to mean something.
For sure.
You know, because I feel like there's a lot of people that don't. They just kind of.
I don't know. I'm more impressed by the person who keeps failing and coming back than the person who just sees like natural success.
Right.
For some reason, that's just more appealing to me.
Yeah, I agree. and this goes back to the people in the gym. You're probably when you go in there day one, you know, I guess it's 50-50. Some people see it as a success or a complete failure or a waste of time, but you got to go back. You have to go back. You just have to go back. Do it for yourself. You know, the self-investment isn't just monetary. It's about time as well. And like stepping out on that limb and stepping out your comfort zone, I think is a self-investment as well. And I wish more people signed up for gym memberships or were questioning or thinking about getting a trainer or investing in themselves. Need to understand that it's that fear, working on that fear is such a big self-investment.
Agreed.
As well.
Definitely. And then for one last point, what's your one tip for people to stay motivated past all the resolution or phase?
I'll let Matt go.
I guess I'll go first.
I haven't thought anything.
I think O'Neal said this in the beginning, but like having a community, or maybe it was Joey, is like having like-minded people with similar goals around you. It's tough in a commercial gym, like you're on your own little island. Joey gave the example of Architect. Obviously, I'm proud to work there, but like it's a similar concept of like everyone else is struggling together with you for the same goals. Maybe they're a little different, but same process. And that's just contagious. It's hard to quit when no one else will around you, you know? And I strongly believe like community is a huge part, if not the biggest part in staying
fit. I would say, kind of what I said earlier, just know that you're going to fail, man. Let it go. Just let it go, man. Let it go. Just like a lot of people like to hold on to what they know and what's comfortable and what's a little comfort is easy, you know, but once you let go, the other side of it is really amazing. And again, when you let go, having a habit to kind of to go back to as well, that'll help, because it's not like, you know, what Matt said, community. That's why the small gyms are important, because I don't feel like there's a drop off in February, because everyone's holding each other accountable, you know, but
so much smaller, you know,
right. In a commercial gym, you can lose motivation by the simple drop off of members that go.
Yeah.
So many factors, but yeah, that's where I'm going with that.
I forget which philosopher said it, but it was something like the failure is always going to be worse in your head.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Well, it's like those dreams. I don't know if you guys ever had dreams as a kid of like you go to school and then all of a sudden you really look down and your butt ass.
Yeah.
That's never gonna happen. You know? And that's always your like first day of school dream. Well, obviously, I don't know about you, but I've never had a first day of school that bad. Right. Your mind always just makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
There's this. How much time do you have, Bill?
Go on, man. You're good. I like this.
There's this video I saw. It was a podcast. It may have been Joe Rogan. I don't know. And they were talking about this plant. It wasn't ayahuasca. Ibogaine. And the guy was describing his experience when he had it. He went to Costa Rica, and anyways, he drank it, had these weird visions and stuff like that. Fast forward a few hours later, and he asks who he is, right? Like, who am I, right? And he said he saw this vision. It doesn't, when you take Ibogaine, you don't hear it. You get visions. You get like images that answer your questions, right? So he asked who he was, and he said first he saw this image of this like clay, like a mud man, right? And he called it Mud Boy. And he said he interpreted it as that's like the body, right? Like you can shape it. It wants to have sex. It wants to look good. You know, it wants to eat. And he said the second image he saw was this little kid, like, you know, just a little menace, you know, kicking people in the knees, like throwing rocks at windows and stuff like that. And he said that's the mind. You know, the mind sometimes can be that little kid that sabotages you, that says like, yeah, you're going to be butt ass naked at fucking school, asshole. Or guess what? You're going to be the fast person in the gym. Or guess what? You're going to blow your knee out in your lift. You know, that's what the mind can do at times. And the worst part about it is we can really, once the mind goes, it goes, you know, it goes and expands. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where like, when it's your time to lift, you may freeze because your mind is taking so much control. And he said the last thing he saw was just this giant this giant glowing figure, and he said, okay, that's my higher self. And he said the mind can sometimes help that or hurt that, and it's all determined how you view yourself and what you do with yourself. So like mindset is really critical. It can work for us or work against us, and if it works against us, I think it's important to figure out why it's working against us to move forward.
Most definitely. That was really good, actually. Don't do drugs, but whatever.
I haven't done it.
That's the next podcast.
Yeah. You guys tried DMT?
I have not, man. I feel like I have to go. I have to leave the country for that. I want to. Yeah. I don't want any.
I don't know. I feel like that's a big Joe Rogan thing.
Yeah.
If I do it, I want to do it with Joe Rogan.
I don't even know where to find that stuff.
I know. But yeah, no. Definitely. Going back to the topic. My tip is just, you might not be able to get a good small gym that's around you. Just find a friend or a good coach or a good trainer.
Yeah.
Who want to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
And then, I think humans are competitive beings just at heart or by nature. And then by having someone like a friend with you or a trainer or a coach,
yeah,
it makes you want to be better.
Right.
Keeps you in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you gotta, man. So some of my clients, man, you'll ask them, so how was your weekend? And they go, huh? I'm like, oh, you lying motherfucker. What did you do? That's the accountability part. Just ask them how their weekend was. They go, huh? Oh, man. Yeah, man. Good weekend. Yeah.
All right. You guys have any closing words?
No, I think that's good. Unless O'Neill has something.
Nah, I don't think I have anything. It was a great talk, man. You guys are like-minded individuals.
It was a great episode.
Yeah.
I agree.
Where do I find it? Where do I find you guys?
Well, you can find us on Facebook and YouTube. The YouTube channel is Chasing Kilos Lifts, and the Facebook is either on mine or Matt's. You can share it as well, O'Neill. Hopefully we'll get on iTunes by the end of this week.
Yeah.
But if you want to reach out to us, you already know it's Instagram.com/kilos and closings, Instagram.com/chasing strength, and Instagram.com/raw empowerment. Yeah. So thanks for listening. Hope you learned something. Yeah. If not, let us know what you want to learn. If you did, please share it. It could help someone out there. Yeah.
Get out there and fail.
Love yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fail and love yourself.
Yep. Get out there and fail and then love yourself afterwards.